Good morning, colleagues. It's 9 o'clock and we can start our session. My name is Nokuphiwa Kunene from the Stellenbosch University Library. I will be facilitating this session. Welcome to you all under the session theme, Let's Support Researcher Well-Being, and a special welcome to participants attending this annual event for the first time. We are honored to have you all. The first speaker for the session is one of our own, Dr. Jason Samuels. He will be presenting to us. His presentation title is Diary of a CEO from research academic to impact startup founder. And one will be asking themselves, who is Dr. Samuels? Dr. Samuels is a dynamic, energetic, and dedicated energy engineer, a researcher with a PhD in energy usage of South African school buildings. He is also an entrepreneur. Dr. Samuels, after completing his high school, he enrolled at Stellenbosch University in 2011. Over the 10-year period at Stellenbosch University, as a student, he completed his Bachelor of Engineering in Electrical and Electronic Engineering, as well as a Master's in Engineering, focusing in Electrical Engineering, and finally he completed his PhD. During his PhD studies in 2021, he co-founded the GreenX Engineering company, which is an energy services company that provides energy solutions to schools and other commercial sectors. Dr. Samuels has a specific research focus on the energy usage of South African school buildings to promote renewable energy sources, such as solar photovoltaic systems, smart metering data analysis using the Internet of Things, and energy management, as well as energy efficiency and energy resilient measures. His goal is to expand his research into other societal spheres. In his spare time, Dr. Samuels focuses on mentoring students, learning new languages, playing his guitar, engaging in lengthy discussions with friends, and making videos. I noted 3 of Dr. Samuel's achievements, which as a researcher, the outcomes of his research resulted in a huge electricity cost saving for schools in the Western Cape. As an entrepreneur, he co-founded the GreenX Engineering company, which specializes on energy performance certification, energy efficiency, energy management, energy resilience, energy procurement. As a social being, he also is contributing towards the local communities, and he's also enthusiastic about building capacity to roll out energy to more schools. I will hand over to Dr. Samuels to enlighten us. Dr. Samuels, the podium is yours.
Thank you so much, Noku. That was an amazing intro. Thank you so much for saying all of those things. Let me jump straight in to share my screen. Please just confirm if you can see my screen. Doing sharing. You probably should be able to see something now.
Yes, we're seeing something now. Thank you.
Okay. And can you see the movement if I do that?
Yes, it
Okay.
is moving.
Okay, fantastic. So I'll just dive right in. So currently, I'm on this journey of exploring what it is like to be a CEO. And coming from an academic research background, I am I'm documenting all of this. So you can look at my Instagram and the company's Instagram, and you can see what we're doing. And we're just trying to show how the company is unfolding. But it started all with a dream and with academics. So it was actually really important to go through that journey, and I really want to share that with you. So just a little bit of background. You've heard a lot now about me. I just wanted to add I was born in Stellenbosch, in Cluttersville, which is a part of Stellenbosch, and it's one of the lower income communities around Stellenbosch, if I may even say that. But being from there, it really is part of my story and how I got to be here. Um, uh, Leading a company now, definitely not on my own. Um, Definitely a product of the people around me and people giving me opportunities. And yeah, just doing amazing things with those people. So I'm going to skip this slide. Let's see if it skips. Yes. So after all the research, we end up with this company with all of these 5 services, and I'm trying to start with the end in mind, um, just to show that it's a company that's running now. Things are still tough. We still need to make lots of sales, but the company at its point now is where it has 5 services. We're reaching out to all the provinces in our country. We're serving schools, officers with these 5 services. And what I want to point your attention to is that all of the services that you see here, just written in words, they were once research papers, research ideas, and you'll notice that as we go through the presentation, that all of these were actually research concepts. So just to briefly go through them, I'll go through them at length later, but the first one is the energy certificate. It's mandated now that buildings need to get it. The second one is managing your energy usage through apps and devices. The third one is cutting out your energy waste. And then the fourth and fifth focus on alternative energy and the procurement of that energy. So brief history of the company. The company is very young. It's still a baby. It's still learning to walk and it's still growing. But the concept was born in 2019 and 2020 when I started this research journey and this PhD journey with the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, um, specifically with Tinus Boyson, a professor there. And throughout those years, we had the idea to do practical research. And we ended up saving money for about 25 schools. And that was even a snowballing effect in and of itself. Doing 4 schools, then 12, then 25. At the end of the research, we had saved money for schools. Looking back, we thought we need to speak to Innovus, the commercialization arm of the university, to actually see if we can make this a business. Lo and behold, 2021 July, we started GreenX Engineering. And our first customers were one of our research partners, the Western Cape Education Department. Fast forwarding a little bit, we ended up doing 50 schools where we would help them save energy on a larger scale and on a more long-term scale. And thereafter, from the public sector branching into the private sector, with private education, private hospitals, doing work for them. And then it was quite a real business environment where we're trying to grow and trying to figure all of that out. And we are currently still there. I see it says you are here in 2024, so I just need to update that at some point. But the emphasis I want to make today is that it all started with research. It all started with sustainable research as well, and how to embed sustainability into our research. And behind that was a problem. The problem was that South Africa was spending 5 billion rand in energy costs for schools and wasting 30% of that. The only reason we knew that was through the research and through doing sustainable, very practical, impacting research. So one could also then ask the question, what makes it so sustainable? Is it that we included the SDGs? Is it that we focused on this overlap of environment, economy, and society? And or is it just that we focused on the major needs that we currently have? And you notice these are focused on utilities, energy, water, waste. We really thought what was the skill sets and the access that we had, and for us it focused on this first one, energy usage. So we set out to do research specifically in South African buildings, understanding the usage, the influence of the usage, how you can change it, and also the influence of the energy supply. So looking at energy in South Africa, as we all know, it affects all of those areas. It affects the SDGs, or it involves them, and also speaking about energy, you're speaking about environment, costs, speaking about people. So smack bang, it just ticks all of those boxes. And now getting to the research, we compared South African schools to schools across the world. This was amazing to do. So as you can see, our schools are here, bottom right, meaning that we don't use like half as much as the other countries in the world, and there are lots of reasons for that. So you could say our schools are energy efficient. And I just want to say again, we zoomed in on schools, but you could apply this to offices, hospitals, all of those buildings. But we saw for the first time that we are actually not using as much energy as we should. And you could also say we are just really efficient. But upon zooming in on the buildings, you'd say, no, that can't be the case. So we did more research. We looked at schools that have higher income or in higher income areas, schools in lower income areas, and you see a stark difference in energy usage as well. So now, coming from an engineering background, looking at the data, that was what we wanted to do, but we really wanted to help our communities, and highlighting the usage of different types of income level schools. This just pointed to some of the issues that we have. Of course, we can make guesses at those issues stemming from the history that our country has. But our focus was more, how do we improve the energy usage in these schools? So this was quite interesting to just look at that type of research. The next phase of the research focused on behaviors of energy items, when people are at the buildings or not, and how efficient they are actually with their usage. And if I had to ask you the question, how do you think we could reduce energy usage? You'd probably think, and this was my answer way back then as well, there's two ways to do it. You look at the items and you look at the behavior of those items. And obviously we all also come to know of a third method, experiencing load shedding. That's how you could also reduce your energy usage, by just the power supply saying, I don't have energy for you to use. That's just a small jab, a small joke. I think Eskom is doing a little bit better. But nonetheless, we still had this issue of how are we seeing the energy waste in our schools, but we are efficient. So we zoomed in on the lighting usage at these schools, and we saw that for the lower income schools, you see a huge chunk of their bills go towards lighting. And zooming in, you could just immediately see why that was the case. We were still using outdated technology that uses 3 times as much energy for the lighting in the lower income schools. And you can just imagine the effects that it has. So just a short reminder as well, this is still just research, right? This is 2020, 2021. we are doing this research, installing lights, installing smart meters, leaving those items there, getting funding for those items as well. And that was basically just training wheels for the company that was to come. Moving on, we also then developed the models, of course, very academic, had to publish all of this research, and the 4 parts were academic or internationally published, which was really good, gave a lot of credibility to the business that we would then eventually start as well. And here, this is quite interesting. So we did an experiment where we had all of these meters installed, and for 5 schools, we gave them different inputs. For 2 of them, we actually did not give them any inputs to see what the energy usage would be. For 3 of them, we would give them some inputs daily, weekly, monthly, to see what they would do. And lo and behold, people would move their usage around based on the awareness. And in our awareness, we included how energy works, what you pay for, and we would remind people, you just wasted 50 Rand, you just wasted 100 Rand. That actually helped them to move their energy usage around. So the point I want to emphasize here is that awareness and our behaviors actually do matter. It's not just about the items that we use, but how we use those items. Fast forward a little bit, we'd all remember COVID-19 and the restrictions. That actually gave us a great experiment to conduct, because we had our meters installed, but suddenly no one was at the schools with the level 5 requirements. And we could see if energy usage would go down, if it would go up, or if it would stay the same. Looking at this graph before you, you'd see that the energy usage did not go down. And why would that be? Because everyone's not there. But this speaks to efficiency. It speaks to our processes of switching things off and leaving things on. And you could clearly see there's still a lot of usage, even when we were all required to not be at the schools. And yeah, this just points to our behaviors and our processes really having an impact to our energy usage. So I just want to summarize all of that to just say our research was very practical. It includes sustainability. It was about solving problems and doing credible research, i.e. publishing all of the research and then working collaboratively with others. And that ended up being the foundation for the services that we have at GreenX. And GreenX is owned by the university with quite a substantial percentage, and still collaborates with the university to improve the services and to improve the company. So I'm just quickly going to elaborate on the services very quickly, and then I'll end off. The first one is the energy certificate. It's a mandatory certificate, brings energy compliance and highlights your energy usage. The calculations that we do here now were the same calculations that we did to compare South African schools to schools across the world. And then the energy management part of it, now we have this dashboard that links a facility's buildings, measures all of the usages. It also points out where you are having peaks. And this just speaks to the awareness, reminding you of how much you saved or how much you did not save, all in the aim to help people save energy, with this being in the palm of your hand, in your pocket, and also relating to the tariffs that we currently have in South Africa. Then we have the energy efficiency service. This was trying to figure out which items use too much energy. You would recall that for the lower income schools, that was lighting. But for another building, it might be something else. Point is that research foundation led us to develop this app, and also further research identifying items that waste energy, and it helps to then figure out what's the breakdown of your energy, where do you need to intervene, and let's say you do this, use this app, you can see what room in your facility uses too much energy, which items use too much energy, and so on and so forth. And then lastly, getting to the energy resilience part, where you'd say, my energy system is not optimized. How do I move to a different energy supply? And of course, that would be solar, wind, using batteries. And then this is a special one because not everyone can afford to buy a solar system off the bat. And we developed the concept of a marketplace where schools and funders and installers can meet each other, and we could actually structure a deal so that the lower income schools could also have solar. That is the end of my my presentation. Thank you all for listening. I hope it was useful. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samuels, for a very short, brief, and to the point presentation. For me, my takeaway from your presentation is how you have translated your interests into impacting and solving social issues. We know that in South Africa, the energy crisis is real, and we need to do as much as possible, even in our homes, to make sure that we contribute towards saving the energy, the little energy that we have. And I am going to open up the question and answer session. Colleagues, if you have questions, please raise your hand, and then we will acknowledge you, and you'll have an opportunity to ask your question.
Just want to add as well, your microphones have been enabled, so you can also unmute yourselves if you want to ask the question.
Colleagues, any questions? Gerhard, do we have any online questions?
No questions in the chat. Just a comment from Mr. Mkhize, great, impactful, and inspirational work.
Maybe then, in the absence of questions, maybe let me ask my. Oh, okay. There is a question. I can't tell whether it's a Mr. or Doctor. Yes. Okay. Mr. Mangadi Mangundu, please ask your question.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation. I just wanted to find out, in terms of you are a CEO of this company, how do you balance now research and also academic? Because I think for some of us who are in the industry, we find it really a little bit of a challenge to balance those two things. Thank you.
That's a great question. So our offices are here at the launch lab, walking distance away from the engineering department, where most of the research happens, that I'm currently involved in. And yeah, it's just having time set aside for the students. I don't always get it right, but I've got 2 final year students every year, at least 1 master student, 1 PhD student. It's basically, yeah, the students are doing more of the research. I just supervise them. And currently my own research, like me writing as a first author on papers, is taking a little bit of a backseat. However, the company actually gives a lot of value to the students, because the company gathers a lot of data. The students can do research on the data, with all the agreements in place. So that's currently how I balance it. I just have a supervision input with the students.
Thank you, Dr. Samuels, for your answer. I have also a question. Considering the energy crisis that we have in the country, I'm interested to find out whether you've had any engagements, not only with the provincial government, but with the national governments. I believe that they need the expertise that you provide, and I think your contribution will definitely go a long way to solve our energy crisis as a country. So going back to my questions, have you had any engagements with the national government?
That's a great question. We've had a lot of engagement with national government, specifically the Department of Basic Education. Not really other departments at the national level, but at length we've pointed out what we should do in our schools, like even given financial proposals to set our schools up so that in the next 5 years, or just in the foreseeable future, we'd be in a better position. And as you probably know, those processes just take a long time. So every year we're following up with them and trying to work with the people there to get these things into our schools and into other public spaces. So yeah, we're talking to them, but nothing has realized as of yet.
Thank you for the answer. And for me, that's really a missed opportunity. And I would really urge you not to give up.
Thanks. We'll proceed.
Okay. Dr. Bangani's hand was up. Siviwe, do you still want to say something?
I did write the question on the chat. So maybe Dr. Simons can just look at it. Someone can look at it and then just respond, please. If you can see it, Doc.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. The question from Siviwe, or the comment is, I may have missed this as I briefly spoke on the phone. To what extent did Innovus assist or support Dr. Samuels in setting up his company? What was the nature of the support he received, if any? What advice would he give to other researchers who want to start their own companies?
This is great. Innovus helped us immensely in starting the company, registering it as a entity, a commercial entity. They have a group of about 36 companies that they've started, and it's growing. So they know how to start companies. They gave us financial support, legal support, accounting support. They have a lot of networks where they can basically plug you in to how to run a business. So a lot of support from their side. They also have an incubator called the Launch Lab. I'm actually sitting at the Launch Lab right now. The Launch Lab helps research-based businesses to fully commercialize with programs and mentorship and networking opportunities. So they really helped a lot. And then what advice would I give? I'd say use your current research as a foundation to go speak to Innovus with some sort of business idea. It doesn't have to be a fully fledged business proposal of 40 pages. Just start speaking to people at Innovus, for instance, Doris Peters or Anita Nell, or anyone at the Launch Lab, Brandon, Pascal. Just start the conversation with them. I think that would be really good. And then if I may, I see there's another question here for individual households. Do you offer the app or service to monitor energy usage? We do. So it comes at a subscription cost of about 200 Rand. and you get a meter installed, and yeah, then you can see your energy usage on your phone, and also energy insights to when you waste. Thanks, Bronwyn, for that question.
Colleagues, do we have any other questions? You still have an opportunity to ask your questions. I do not believe that there is anyone who does not have a question, especially with regards to energy. Even if you want to understand your energy consumption, I think Dr. Samuels can assist. Okay, we have a question from Mr. Mkize. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Dr. Samuels, for sharing your journey. As I said, I think it's quite inspirational on my side to see how we also can navigate this in the future. So based on just asking a bit on the app side of things, I did say, as you also said, that your app is looking at it from a household perspective. Do you have any plans of maybe moving this to, let's say, appliance level type of insights? Because people, for example, might want to know how much does a geyser consume, how much does this consume, and that kind of stuff. So maybe the actual offering itself, if you're going towards the household space, and you're now looking at people, they actually like this sort of gamification of stuff, and looking at the apps where they can see how they can do the certain things. Because you also mentioned that the part where you actually influence the behavior actually changes it from the people's side. Is that something that you are investigating from your side, or something that you have?
Mr. Mkize, that's great. That's a great comment, a great question. We are looking into appliance level insights and gamifying it as well. So one idea is to have some sort of leaderboard where if you could connect all the schools to this app or houses in a certain area, you could basically see in a game who can save the most energy. And I mean, you're right about like specific items like a geyser. A geyser can use so much energy usage, and there's also always, the debate of, do you leave your geyser on or do you switch it off? If you've got the data and if you're measuring those devices, it's very easy to see what you should be doing with your devices. But I do think there's some hurdles to overcome. If you're going to measure all the items, you might need devices to measure all those items. But I think we're coming closer and closer to just determining priority items to measure, and then putting that on the app for people to actually see how I can save energy. Thanks for the comment.
Thank you, Dr. Samuels. Let me see. Gerna also uploaded on the chat the link to the GreenX Engineering website. We have another question from Bronwyn. Is the app being used on the SU campuses to monitor our energy usage? That's the question.
What a great question. Thank you, Bronwyn. The app is not being used yet. We are in talks with Hein. What is Hein's surname? I forget now, but he's in control of the residences. So we want to do a campaign where we have a leaderboard and an energy savings campaign where residences can compete for a tier of energy savings, like a gold tier or a silver tier, whatever you want to call it. But they would be using the app and they would be ranking themselves to see who's saving the most energy. Our campus is moving towards that. There are a few issues to sort out, such as our metering, but in talks with facilities and with the residences. Thanks, Bronwyn.
Mr. Mkize, your hand is up. Please ask your question. or comment? Oh, was it an old hand, as we would say? Okay. Colleagues, do we have any other questions for Dr. Samuels?
Oh, it's sorry if I may go. It was an old hand, but I just want to have a quick follow up on what I asked from Dr. Samuels. I do remember, or maybe off a comment. I do remember when I was doing a small assignment, we were doing quantitative forecasting. I also did a bit of the very quick energy check on the Cape Town region. I do remember the city of Cape Town finding that they had the name and shame approach when it came to showing the high energy users. And I'm just thinking that maybe your approach of getting the gamification might actually work a bit better, because that one, I guess, caused a bit of a stir on people being exposed, because they had the whole map that they're going to show of the city and actually have it at street level where you're showing people in red and green and that kind of approach. But if it's one that is more voluntary, I think there's a bit of a hope that it might work in a bit of a better way. So yeah.
Thanks so much for that. I think that's a valid comment.
We have another question from Bronwyn. Bronwyn wants to know, how do you stay motivated with your work on tough days?
And wow, okay, Bronwyn is coming through with the questions. I'm sure we can all give an input here. The company is only 4 years old. But yeah, the motivation comes from just the bigger reason to do the work. And then the people that I work with, like throughout the levels, the board level, the shareholder level, the employee level, the client level, I do feel like there's a big responsibility to those people. It might be different responsibilities, but really doing good work for them. And I mean, I'm just a person. Sometimes the tough days are just too tough, and I have to make it fun. So I have to find ways to just to make it fun. And for me, it's just working with great people, and yeah, trying to have impact. So thank you so much for that question, Bronwyn.
We have another question from Yusuf. Yusuf, please ask Dr. Samuels.
Hi, Jason. My name is Yusuf. So I come from Cluttersville. I was born there many years ago. Tell me just what it means for you as a person coming out of Cluttersville, and your journey to where you are now, what it means to you.
Hello, Yusuf, my fellow person from Greensville. No, it means a lot. It really means a lot. Coming from a place where, looking back now, I can see the opportunities were very scarce. I'm super thankful for just how things played out. It could have been so much different for my journey. So really thankful, and trying to help the schools there, just to improve. So you would see solar panels and batteries at the schools in Cluttersville, Kayamandi, and Idas Valley, working on the rest. And obviously the goal is to help every school in the country. That's the real goal, because I come from those schools. But if you take a drive through Cluttersville, Kayamandi, Idas Valley, you see some schools with solar panels, and that was a result from the work that we've done. It really just means a lot, because I know also what's to come. Like, maybe I'm gonna have children one day. I want them to be in a place where there's energy and there's more opportunities. So that really also motivates me to do this on the tough days. Thanks for the question, Yusuf.
Colleagues, you still have an opportunity to ask Dr. Samuels your questions.
I see there's a question about.
Questions,
Oh, sorry. Sorry, CV.
No. Go ahead, Jason.
I see there's a question about profits. Currently, to be brutally honest, we have revenue. We're generating revenue through our two main services, the certificates, because it's mandatory. Everyone needs to do it. And a little bit with the solar, but a lot is picking up now with the smart metering. There's revenue, but there's no profits yet. And coming from an engineering background, now being in the business world, from the academic space as well, learning all of these things, it's tough. It's tough. So not generating profits yet for the shareholders, but on the way there. Thanks for the question.
Dr. Samuels, on that comment exactly of you being an engineer and going into business, how has the transition been for you, as well as a researcher? How has the transition been for you?
Yeah, so it was going into the deep end just off the bat, starting the business. That was in the year I finished the PhD. I didn't even graduate yet. In the half of that year, we had started the company already. And I think that actually helped a lot just to dive right into it. Parties that came just to support was Innovus, the Launch Lab, and other business mentors. So anyone looking to do this journey, like, you cannot do it alone. If you do it alone, you must be super exceptional to do it. But just having people around me helped a lot. And from going from academic space, it feels like you know a lot. But I think everyone here would say, looking back, if you just come out of varsity, out of a teaching environment, there's a lot to still learn. And just having mentors around you to say, heads up, this is coming, that helped me quite a bit. And to just always keep growing. Yeah.
Thank you. There is another question from the viewer. What is doctor's, I assume Dr. Samuel's biggest ambition with his company? Does this ambition align with his academic ambition?
That is a great question. So for me, it all aligns. Everything is going in the same direction. So the company, we wanted to be able to service the public buildings and the private buildings in our country through that whole funnel of certification, compliance, metering, cutting out the waste, and then the energy supply. So I see it as all the schools in our country, we have about 25,000 of them. They could all be an energy hub for our communities. Once we get that right for all of our provinces, and the schools being able to export power to the houses, with electric vehicles also coming into play, we move up into Africa. So yeah, we've been trying to do some market research in Botswana, and the countries around us, Namibia. And there's no reason why the apps that we're developing can't be used in Europe, Australia, wherever. So just trying to make it scalable as well. That means for us building platforms, crowdsourcing, data, and crowdfunding as well. So it's really to build this company to be able to scale. But if I've got a meter installed and that meter's logging data, I can have the right agreements in place for someone to do research on that meter and that data. For me, that's the crux. So as the meter count goes up and the data goes up, we can do more research, we can be more accurate. So for me, I've seen that just circle go around where the company grows and we can do more research. I can have more masters and PhD students, and that improvement just makes the company even better. So the two kind of feed into each other. And just a short reminder that the university is a shareholder. So as the company grows, the university also would profit a bit. So I hope that answers the question.
We have another question on the chat from Akona Ndamase. Akona wants to know, how do you balance innovation, research, and return on investment in the ever-changing technology and economy?
What a question. Thank you for that question. The innovation, we have to make time for that because we need to solve problems, and if they haven't been solved yet, that means we have to think of a new way to do it. So I try to make time myself to do that, and I also leave that to some of the students because if you're pursuing a PhD, going that route, you are inevitably going the route of trying to do something new. So structuring the research as well, we have to do at least something new and something that's going to help society. So that's off the bat is structured like that. The return on investment, I have to say that having a business, you have a board of directors who are not all of them researchers, who are people that have run businesses, have raised capital, all of those things. They keep me in check. We also get audited by an accounting firm, and that it detaches from all of the research. It doesn't matter if I've got a doctorate or not. They just want to know, what did you spend this money on? Do you have invoices? SARS comes into play as well. So just trying to have a profitable idea, putting it into the market and having the market basically speak. Then also having the governance in check. And growing in all of those things, because you're not gonna, or let me say about me, I haven't gotten it right to hit all of these three things 100%. So just having that growth mindset as well of like trying to do these things and then improving it. Yeah, I hope that helps.
We have another question from Bronwyn. And Bronwyn wants to know, you monitored energy usage in schools. Any monitoring of libraries? Yes, Bronwyn, communities, halls, services, and clinics. We have to always think of our own sector as well. So please don't forget us as libraries. Yes, and
That's
yes,
great.
Bronwyn wants to know.
This is great. In that list that you have there, we've only done hospitals, which comes close to clinics. That's probably the only one that we've expanded to. Yeah, but there's a big scope in using like those buildings, and in my mind, it's normally public type buildings where they have services, and you can have the power being provided from that building. But only clinics, Bronwyn. And then just to say, our country has national standards. Maybe a lot of you know this, but just to shortly say, we've got national standards that say what the energy reference value is for specific types of buildings. And in there, you've got clinics or hospitals included already, and houses, and schools and offices. So all that to say that there are reference values to tell you if you're saving or not saving already. We just need to get that to these types of buildings. So the libraries are coming.
We'll hold you up to that, Dr. Samuels. Don't worry. Okay. Colleagues, are there any more questions? We almost out of time. Okay. In the absence of further questions, thank you very much, Dr. Samuels, for such an interesting presentation. Oh, okay. There is a question from, let me, from Nokutula Ngingwana. Nokutula wants to know whether you've considered to reach out to the Department of Energy with your solutions.
That's a great question. This we have not considered it directly. We've done it indirectly through the Premier's energy department, because they focus on energy usage, but that's for the Western Cape. Nationally, we are working with the Centre for Renewable and Sustainable Energy Studies to roll out the media labs, and that is part of the Department of Energy. That's on their radar. So, but I think a more direct approach could work as well, and we have the contacts, so I'll try that. Thanks so much for the comment, and thank you for the time to be able to speak. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Dr. Samuels, and thank you for emphasizing the fact that conducting research is not only about accolades and prestige, but the end goal is to impact and influence and solve social issues. And you have done that. You are doing it, and we appreciate you as one of Stellenbosch's finest. And we hope to engage more with you. And having come to the end of the session, colleagues, I just want to emphasize that the closing of the Library Research Week will be held at the end of the last session, which will be between 11:30 and 12:30. And thank you for participating, and all the best to everyone. Thank you.